Hey guys!
Na
He's crazy.
So we just went to go see The Lion King, the live action one. It was fun.
Good. I liked it.
Heads up before we actually go into anything that we want to talk about. This probably we'll have spoilers in it. You know, not anything
That
too
you didn't already
crazy.
know, but
right.
just more about like the stylized.
And probably the changes and differences between the two movies. But if you've seen the original Lion King, then you pretty much know the plot synopsis story of the new one. So first thoughts, what did you think?
I really liked it. It was good. Was it great? No. Did it blow my mind? No. Was it better than the original? No. But for what it was, as far as the remakes have been going, I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. I tensed up in different parts, even though I knew what the outcome was going to be anyway. I cried in certain parts, even though I knew that those parts would probably make me cry. So, like, you know, it was just... I had the emotional roller coaster that you would expect to have with a movie.
I tend to cry at Disney movies, but I didn't cry at this one. I don't know, my first thoughts, like, yeah, it was good. It wasn't the original, which is fine, because you can't do the same movie. You can't just take a movie and remake it word for word, and, like, people might like that. I would not. I wasn't completely looking forward to this movie. Lion King's not one of my favorite films. I know that's, like, one of the biggest films in the 90s, but... So
it's my favorite, though.
Right, and a lot of people's favorites, too. So anything that I say, just take it with a grain of salt, because just because it's my opinion doesn't mean it's your opinion, and that's completely fine. There are plenty of things I liked about it, a lot more things I didn't like about it, just because of certain stylistic choices. Thank you. Like the first thing, like the opening scene is almost scene for scene remake of the original. Like, which I thought was cool. Like, that's a cool callback. That's a way to, you know, get the audience, you know, the older audience that has seen it when we were kids, to kind of bring us back and it's like, yeah, I remember this. This is good. You know that big old voice in the beginning screaming at you, and then you know the background choir and everything, and then you know little ants walking on the limbs and the zebras running in the background, and you know each part gets focused in. You guys know, if you've seen the original, you know. And if you've seen this one, then you know too. So I thought that was cool. That was one of the cool things that, you know, as soon as the movie started, I was like, that's a nice callback.
Yeah.
That was actually, I think, probably my favorite thing about the movie. Like, there's, again, good stuff about the movie, but I love that the most.
It just got me ready. It definitely got me in the mindset, that opening scene where I was just like, it's coming. We all know what's going to happen. They're going to present Simba. It's going to be all the animals are going to bow.
Baby Simba was extremely cute.
Oh, so cute.
We'll talk about it later, but there's another baby in there that was like extremely
adorable.
Cute. But Baby Simba was cute.
That baby stole the whole movie for me.
Like, you know, Rafiki putting a little root on his head, a little sneeze.
And a little sneeze, and you're like, oh,
yeah, it's cute.
Simba.
So yeah, the whole
Baby Simba was awesome.
The whole beginning scene was nice. This may be weird to you and other people too. For whatever reason, I appreciated Simba and Nala's eye color.
Huh.
Because, like, you know, cartoons, you can make things bright and vibrant. You can make things pop. And that was the one thing about Simba and Nala. Like, Simba has very kind of striking orangish eyes, like an orangish brown. And then Nala has, like, the...
blue.
She was green.
Oh, I thought they were blue.
No, they're definitely green. I looked it up on the internet beforehand. No, yeah. No, so, like, you know, especially in, like, the Can You Feel the Love Tonight sequence, like, I actually got, you know, hey, it actually kind of looked like, at that point, you know, again, photorealism and everything, but at that point, it kind of looked like Nala. Like, it's like, oh, this scene looks like Nala. Like, before, it's like, they did their best to make each of the lines look like their characters from the cartoon, but I felt like at that point, I was like, I guess maybe because that scene was more animated in a way. Like, you know, they did more colors, more more unnatural events that would happen.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I understand what you mean. I just want to touch on your point of the characters looking like their cartoon counterparts.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
That's what I mean,
at all. Like I thought they all looked more like their realistic counterparts, unless like their cartoon counterparts.
I think it was because at that point, like, I saw Simba's eyes earlier, but I think at that point I like saw Nala's eyes, and I was like, that's right, she has green eyes. Like they're not like piercing, lime green or anything, but they have that,
They're striking.
Yes, exactly. So like I definitely I appreciated it. I don't know, it was just something that I picked up. I was like, okay, like they did keep true to character, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was just something I thought was cool.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I know people were complaining a lot about the way the characters looked and like their mouth and their expression on their faces weren't matching the things that they were saying. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I got so caught up in just the movie itself and the story that I didn't even notice that.
I will say, like, during the trailers and previews and things for the movie, I had a very uncanny valley feeling about it. Mm-hmm. And I know you didn't know what that
term I didn't know what that term meant.
For any of you guys, uncanny valley is a term that's thrown around in, like, video games a lot, where things are so real, but not real enough. And, like, it looks very real, but your brain catches it. It's like, and it gives you an uneasy feeling. And I got that a lot in the trailers for whatever reason. But watching the movie, like, I had no problem.
I think also seeing it on the big screen made a huge difference. Because watching it on TV, you're not seeing all those little nuances that you get to see when it's, like, on this massive screen.
But again, I get it for those people that complain that the animals weren't expressive enough.
Yeah.
Because, again, in the original, it's a cartoon. Like, you can give them cartoon eyes. Like, oh my goodness, my eyes are so big because I'm surprised. Or, like, Scar. Like, I guess that's one thing that I didn't like the way they did Scar. Yeah, we can get into that.
As much as like
more.
it would have just been nice, like just on his aesthetics.
The actor,
based on his aesthetics.
Yeah, the actor did fine.
The actor did great.
I forget who did. I'm sorry.
The actor did great, but
I'll put it caption right here.
But the aesthetics of Scar, he didn't look menacing.
No.
He did have a slight scar, but you don't see it until you're in the theater, and it's big. It's like this very faint little like line that goes across his eye.
I think they touched him up from the original trailers, because when that first original trailer dropped, maybe it's just because it was a quick scene, they also used the scene where like he's leading the hyenas into I think into the Pride Lands. I think that was the scene they used in the trailer, where you just see the front of him and he just looks diseased. But like in the movie, because I know I think I complained about it too, that why couldn't we just give him a black mane? But the black mane is there. It's just not the front half of his hair. It's like all the back mane like behind him.
But it's not black. It's like it's not salt and peppered, but it's grayed out a little bit.
A little bit.
Like it's more like a dark gray.
Again, it's that photo.
Like it's like, oh, he's older.
They went through that realism.
Yeah.
But he's not older.
Mufasa's older, but I'm just saying, like, like he had lived a hard life, like as a lion, like he had like a harder life.
Honestly, there were hints to that throughout the movie. I felt, at least in the beginning, with the way him and Mufasa interacted, I thought they were actually going to go into like a flashback backstory.
Oh yeah.
In the original, Mufasa jumps in front of, is like, is that a challenge? Like the whole "don't turn your back on me" Scar. Mm-hmm. That line was changed a little in this, but like Scar's response was like, "Oh no, brother, I'd never challenge you, not again." And I was like, oh, are they gonna do a little flashback at some point? I was kind of hoping for it.
Cool.
It would have been cool. Actually, that's one thing that is in like the books that's not in the movies. Like Scar's name is Taka, which actually means garbage. Which,
you told me that before.
You can look it up on the internet, but it's like one of those things where like obviously Scar's gonna be resentful because they named the older brother Mufasa, which means king. They named the younger brother Taka, which means garbage.
Yeah.
So of course he's gonna be resentful.
There's always gonna be that like dynamic there between the two of them.
Hey, firstborn, you're king. Secondborn,
you're garbage.
It's terrible.
Or they could just be British and be like, you're spared to the air. That's what it is. You're spared to the air.
Yeah, so, but no, it's, again, stylistic approaches. They went for a very realistic look to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, because of that, you can't get as expressive as a cartoon can get.
Right.
So.
And it was fine. Honestly, I didn't notice it. I didn't need it.
Yeah.
I was so enthralled by the movie itself that didn't bother me. And I thought that a couple of times. I was like, you know, they're not being very expressive, but it doesn't bother me.
Got the point across.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm still really enjoying this. I'm still deeply invested in what's going on the screen, even though I know this story like the back of my hand.
Yeah, because all the actors did great with
They did an amazing
their
job.
voice. And James Earl Jones is still wonderful.
But you know the
Beautiful
thing
voice.
I will say about James Earl Jones in this, you can hear his age.
Well, yeah, the guy is like,
I know.
I don't know how old
I
he
was
is, but
just like,
70s, 80s at least?
Yeah, he's up there. I don't know. For me, I was just like, I was expecting to hear Mufasa from like
Mufasa.
from the 90s.
Ooh. Say it again.
Mufasa.
There's none of that though.
Yeah, there's no.
Oh.
They don't play around as much as
We'll
they
get
used
into
to.
that later.
But yeah, it was. I was a little disappointed because it's like I couldn't hear the original Mufasa.
Yeah.
Like I was like it kind of sounds like him, but there's a difference to his voice, so it
Yeah.
still sounds like it's a fresh take. That's exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah.
It sounded like a fresh take on the same character, even though it was the same actor played years later.
You know, that's the other thing, like, you know, you're always weary, not you, but like me, I guess. I'm always weary about child actors too. The kids that did Simba and Nala as kids,
They were good.
They were good. They were. When it came to convey emotion though, Simba was a little lacking. Especially because like JTT,
Yeah.
like I you know, Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you know, spoilers, when Mufasa died, like his scream for me is like iconic. Like that that Simba cries, it wasn't as strong in this. And also it's kind of I guess it might have been that photorealistic approach, because literally Simba was just standing there and his mouth opens and screams no. Whereas like again, cartoons can be more expressive. Like, you know, like it was just.
I didn't even
more
notice that.
effective.
I was bawling, so all I was like, he died. He let
Yeah.
him go. He's been trampled.
And I told this to Kendra when we first left the theater, that there was a lot of times where I was expecting to feel a certain way, but I didn't. But I don't know if that was due to the actual theater we went to, because it kind of felt like there were certain times where maybe like the surround sound wasn't working. I don't know, because
And I didn't notice that at all.
right, especially the reason that I noticed it was because in the beginning of Circle of Life, where like all the animals are like, you know, cheering and making noises after Simba's presented, like there's elephants that are standing in the background and you can hear them trumpeting, but there's zebras and antelope and like even giraffes in like the foreground that aren't making any noise at all. It was weird. It was like, you know, because even in the original, like that scene, like there's tons of animal sounds. There's like, you know, there's like, you know, cheetahs and leopards making sounds. The zebras are doing their
The monkeys, chimps.
yeah, right, and elephants. But like the only animal that I remember hearing at that time was like just the elephants. So I don't know if that was a movie choice or if that was just the theater we were in.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I don't know.
And we were in the back. Like, when I go to see a movie, I love to sit back middle. Because I feel like...
because I don't like to climb that high.
I don't mind the climb because it's like walking up a pair of stairs. It doesn't bother me. But what I like about it is that you get to see the whole screen, and you're less likely to have a head in front of you. Like
that's true.
like you see over everyone because you're so high up.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're looking straight at the screen.
Right, you're
too.
looking straight. You don't have to kind of like lift your head up to look over the person in front of you to see the screen. So I like that. So we were in the back, so we should have really gotten a full sound of everything where we were sitting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if we wouldn't have gotten the full sound, I feel like there's just noise is missing in that scene.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But kind of going off of that, and I was very surprised. We went out to dinner afterwards. We went to Olive Garden. This was our anniversary date, our 8th anniversary, which, you know, we did a video earlier this week on that.
Yeah.
But we actually got to celebrate today. But afterwards at dinner, I was very surprised with Kendra's response to this, where I thought the music, and I'm very critical of music. Like, I love the music in every movie. There's one thing I have a huge issue with, but the music in general was very good in my opinion. Like Circle of Life was, again, because
on point.
Because they did it, you know, scene for scene like the original. It was very cool, very well done, sounded great, and all the other songs too, I thought were very well done. Everyone did a good job of their own rendition. I thought Timon and Pumbaa. Who played Timon and Pumbaa?
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen was Pumbaa, and
Billy.
Yeah, the dude that yells at people on the street.
I love him so much.
Billy on the street.
Yeah, Billy. What's it?
Just call him.
Etchler?
I have no idea what his last name is.
Something. I'm so
There's his
sorry,
name.
Billy. Forgive me. I love you.
Billy on the street. But yeah, so Seth Rogen and Billy, I thought they did a very good job as Timon and Pumbaa. But like, I thought all the music was very well done, and you had different opinions on that.
Yeah, so I guess that's where the old movie comes in for me, was the music. I since I identified so deeply with the original movie and the songs and the style in which they were sung. This one, there's a lot more modernization to it, lots more, like, I don't know what to call them, trolls? Like,
Christina Aguilera singing.
Yeah, but
not that bad.
It was no, it wasn't that intense, but it just you know, it was like, can you feel the love? It's like, I didn't like that. I was like, what is going on? This is not. I wanted it more like, I felt
you
like
wanted the classical feel.
I wanted the classical feel,
not the pop music feel.
Not the pop music feel, because when I think of Lion King and I think of the music and how iconic it is, it tells its own story in just the way you sing it. And you lose a little bit of the emotion when you start to add in extra vocal enhancements like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. I personally didn't prefer it. I lost connection with the music every time I heard someone like do their own little rendition of it to make it their own thing. Which,
I think,
as an actress, I can respect, but as a fan, it was a little disappointed.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that's kind of what you get when you get people to act that are primarily singers.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, I would say Beyonce is primarily a singer.
Yeah.
I would say that Donald Glover is primarily a singer.
Okay.
You don't know who Donald Glover is, do you? Sorry, I should stop calling you out. I'll edit. Maybe I should edit that out.
I'm like
That's
terrible.
rude.
I'm terrible with
What's his name?
I know he's done so much recently, and I'm trying to keep up with everything.
Childish Gambino.
Who?
You don't know who that is?
No.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm gonna probably cut all this out because I'm probably completely wrong. I don't know his music. I know he did that one music video where he's like shirtless and has like white pants on. He's like dancing. He's got his little fro going on. I forget what the song is.
I don't watch
pretty
music
sure.
videos.
Neither do I.
See,
but I know
I'm
that
so
video.
out of like when it comes to like.
I think his name's Childish Gambino. If not, I'll put it on the screen saying I'm stupid. But I think that's what I think. Ow.
Sorry.
Ow. Cut those nails.
Aww.
Actually, no. If you want, if they're pretty. But I think that is what you get when you get actors. And again, they did fine acting wise, but they're primarily singers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they do. I had a question for you.
Yes.
In your opinion, which actor portrayed their character truest to what that character is?
Timon.
You thought so?
Yeah.
Billy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. He was still kind of like wisecracking and making jokes, but like they weren't like the same jokes that were in the original one. They were like his version of like his spin on the character.
Okay.
And I respected that, and he just still had like that uppity like personality that Timon has, and like I'm gonna spin this to make it sound like I came up with it, and like even though it was really you, like someone else might have been smarter than me for a second, but I'm just gonna play it up like I was the smartest one in the room.
Nice.
And like I really appreciated. I really enjoyed his performance. I will say I enjoyed Beyonce's performance as Nala.
Okay.
The only thing that was distracting for me in her performance was that I knew it was her voice.
See, I don't know what Beyonce sounds like, so...
So, see, yeah, when I heard it, I was like, it's Beyonce's voice coming out of a line.
Which is interesting. Now, is that kind of counter to James Earl Jones and Mufasa? Because you know that's James Earl Jones. Like, you know that's his voice. Like, that's his voice in everything. From Darth Vader to Field of Dreams to Lion King. Like, James Earl Jones is not, he's not a voice actor. He doesn't change his voice.
Right. But with that, I just saw Mufasa. Like, I didn't go, oh, that's James Earl Jones. I just was like, oh, look, Mufasa's on. Like, I can hear him, and like...
Product of nostalgia, maybe a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because, like, that's what
Nala,
you grew up with.
I was like, I clearly heard Beyonce, and I'm like, it's just Beyonce talking to me.
That's
it's really
funny.
weird that it's coming out of a lion's mouth. But she did such a great job.
Yeah.
I enjoyed her performance a lot.
I thought John Oliver was very well done of Zazu.
I actually really like Zazu, yeah.
Rowan Atkinson's my boy, but John Oliver did a very good Zazu, and I thought he did very well to the point of the character. Like even the pouncing scene where he was just like off in the back rattling off the news.
Yeah.
Like it just sounded great. Like I said,
he had a lot of little bits in that too. That Zazu didn't have in the original.
I was trying to listen to it.
Yeah,
but at the same
really
time,
cool.
like he was quiet in the background, and Mufasa was doing the pouncing lesson.
Yeah.
So it was hard to
he
pay
had,
attention here
he had
to
these
what
little sidebar jokes and like little things that was more for not for adults, but like an adult would understand.
Like they weren't like racy adult jokes.
Yeah, they weren't racy adult jokes. They were just more
something adult would get, would understand.
Yeah, something that would probably go over the head of a child, but like an adult would be like, because I definitely did that.
Now the Zazu of the movie though, like his depiction, like the actual character.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, the bird looked weird. Yeah, the bird looked weird.
He didn't look healthy. He looked like he was in need of some medical attention.
Yeah.
At like the reserve, I don't know, like.
And it was like the two animals that I got that the most from was Zazu and all the hyenas.
No, I like the hyenas. The hyenas look well fed in this one.
But they're not supposed to. They're scavengers.
Yeah, right. They're scavengers.
But not that. It was their facial expressions. Like the hyenas were the only ones that actually had facial expressions, because instead of an actual hyena where like when they laugh, they're cackling, they just open their mouth, and I would have appreciated that more. But they actually gave them like almost Joker-esque grins when they were laughing.
I don't think I noticed that.
It was weird. Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
A couple times. You know what kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminded me of like. Almost like the dogs from Hunger Games. Yeah, they just like it morphed a little bit in my opinion. It looked weird.
Huh. I know that the one who kind of took me off, and I was like, oh really? Was Pumbaa.
Yeah.
I know they were going for a more realistic warthog, but like.
We're gonna keep saying that a lot, probably.
Yeah. But it was just. I wanted him to look a little bit softer. Like, he looked a little bit more rougher around the edges. Like, Timon still looked, like, fun and cutesy, like, you want to hang out with him. I don't think I would want to hang out with the Pumbaa in that one. Because he looked a little, like, a little gruff, like, a little scary, a little intense.
So I think this is a good time to bring in the best character of the movie. Baby Pumbaa. Oh, my God.
Cute.
He was so fluffy. He was all like...
and he had different colors. Like,
yeah,
he was like
all
striped
red.
almost.
It was like red and brown striped.
Yeah, it was so cute. And he was just adorable. He's just sitting in the mud.
Like little fart bubbles.
Yeah. It was so cute. You just wanted to like run him, like he was like a little piglet. Like you wanted to just take him and like run away and just be like, just stay like this little forever. Yeah, so that but yeah, see, they could have done something like that with him getting older. He could have had, like, you know, that brownish color. Instead, he was, like, really gray
Yeah.
and washed out.
And
looking,
that's how
and
warthogs look,
old.
though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but-
they're like almost like a scaliness with their fur.
Yeah, it was more scaly. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't what I was expecting. And, I was kind of disappointed in Pumbaa because he's my favorite character. Then it would be Zazu. Then it would be Rafiki. And Rafiki, okay, so the actor who did Rafiki, they didn't give him much in comparison to the movie.
He was like, I thought they were going to make him mute. I thought they didn't have a voice actor for him because he didn't, like, say anything until literally the end of the movie. Like, I guess Rafiki doesn't talk much in the original either.
But his presence he has such a big presence when he's in the movie.
Right, when he is
where in this he was more background.
Like when in the original when he catches the leaves and like sniffs them and it's like, oh, it's Simba. He's like laughing and like he's like almost cackling with happiness.
Personality there that was not present in this.
Yeah, it was interesting.
A warmth that was missing there.
And from the beginning.
And they didn't do the Santa Santa.
They kind of did the. They had a little bit of the crazy monkey old man in there.
Yeah, but it wasn't like as fun and
Santa Sana squash banana.
Yeah.
That was another weird choice. And it came out, I don't know how to explain it, but he didn't have his staff to begin with.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like that old wise sage character where he was like coming in and he had his staff and he was like, oh, you know, I'm coming in, I'm such an old man, but I'm your friend, hi. Which I thought that was okay. You know, they did the little, like, forehead touch with, Mufasa, I just did it to you, it was kind of weird. You know, instead of, like, the big, oh, give me a hug, buddy, in the cartoon. Which I thought that was fine, you know, it's like animals interacting.
Yeah.
But he didn't have his staff, and I thought that was weird. And when he finally did get it, I thought it was even more weird. Because it was right before the end climactic battle. He goes to his tree and he pulls it like out from underneath the roots of the tree and is like,
and he goes,
hello my old friend. It's like, was he like some old war hero or something? Like he has like some hidden past.
And you know what? I didn't notice that he didn't have it until that scene. And that scene, I was like, he hasn't had it the whole time. Why hasn't he had it the whole time? This makes no sense. Why are they bringing it out now? Like it just was like, I know it was probably more of a nod to the animated version, but like it was something they could have just left.
Yeah,
I think if they just left it, it wouldn't have been an issue.
It didn't
catch. I didn't catch it until they pulled it out of the tree.
At that point, it was fan service.
Yeah.
So like, I think a way they could have done, because you know, without his staff from the beginning, you didn't get that cool little comic relief scene of him and Simba saying, whack, and he hits him. It's like, what was that for? Doesn't matter, it's in the past.
Yeah, you didn't get any of that.
And he's like, from what I can tell, you can either run from it or, and he swings again, learn from it. And, you know, like that, because he didn't have that wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
Like, there was no old wise sage Rafiki. Rafiki was kind of just there.
Yeah.
Like, I think if they didn't want to have the staff and everything, I think what they could have done is, like, during the end fight scene, like, he could have just found a stick and just picked it up and started whacking things. And he could have been...
And it would have been just as...
And even at that point, he could have, like, maybe made, like, some... I mean, people would probably complain. He could have made, like, some weird, silly little, like, look at his staff and grin at it or something, and then, like, charge off and fight more hyenas or something like that.
They could have done without it. Now that you bring up that fight scene, I see why they brought it up, because they're like, oh crap, he needs something to do this fight scene with.
Yeah, because he's not gonna start beating hyenas with his fists.
Right. So, like, you know, it makes sense now why they gave him the staff at that point. But honestly, if he didn't have the whole movie, I don't see why bringing it at the end. It wouldn't have been an issue.
So
they could have found another way to shoot that scene. I think
it would have been. Yeah, it was interesting. So I don't know. Going along with weird things that I noticed, there's too much ear twitching.
Oh my gosh! It was like
I get it. Like, animals' ears twitch, but not that often, and not for
intense.
no reason. Like, if you have.
Like, every little thing. I felt like I was watching dogs.
Yes.
Like, it was like that, like, oop, oop, ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. Like, I'm looking for the sound. Where's it coming
it's
from?
like- it's
and
like
I'm
when
like,
you-
you're not
it's
that
like
type
when-
of animal.
Yeah, it's like when you slowly put your finger behind a dog's ear, and like as you get closer, like they feel it and their ear flips. Like that just happened so often in all the characters.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. Maybe in the wild that happens to lions more often. I just don't know. Another thing is, if I'm not mistaken, hyenas are more closer to cats than they are to dogs, but they had a lot of dog-like features to them in this.
Yeah,
Like,
they look more like dogs.
There's less hyena cackling and more like actual barking, which I don't think
Yeah.
hyenas do.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong. You can tell me in the comments how dumb and wrong I am, which is fine.
Yeah,
but
we'd like to know.
From what I know and what I remember and I've learned, that hyenas, yeah, they're closer to cats than dogs. They're more feline than canine. Canine. Sorry.
You know what's funny about that though?
What's that?
They were more canine in the animated movie too, though.
Right, but
So,
because I think that's just, you know, I think they're trying to go for the aesthetic appeal of cats and dogs. Like you have lions, you have hyenas, like, you know, that's who the like the main conflict is between in these movies. So I get that that's how they're trying to personify them, but at the same time, like you're going for more photorealistic look, you should go for more realistic behaviors.
Yeah, there were a lot of times I felt like I was watching a pack of dogs running around.
Which I don't think hyenas are like. Again, I'm not a zoologist, so I don't know. But,
yeah.
Going off the hyenas though, I thought it was kind of cool, and at the same time, it hurt a little bit. Not me, but I think it hurt the plot and the connection, like connecting plots and things. They made Shenzi the dominant
leader,
hyena, the leader of the pack, which that's fine. Like, you know, Whoopi Goldberg doing the voice of Shenzi in the original, she was obviously the leader of the three hyenas. You know, it made sense to make her the leader of the pack, but the thing that they didn't do, it was very clear that they made a point that there was no prior connection between Scar and the hyenas. Like, you know, after they went through the elephant graveyard, you know, Scar came in and did his whole speech and everything. It was very clear that during that scene that maybe not the first time Scar met with the hyenas, but that they weren't like buddies and pals, like like Bonsai said,
in
you're
the
like one of us.
In the animated one, Scar sends the hyenas into the elephant graveyard to get Simba. I think so.
No, they're already there.
No.
He sends Simba, but the hyena's already there. He's just like this movie, he sends the hyenas to chase Simba after the stampede and everything.
Oh, okay.
Which that was a great scene. That was my
That was
my favorite
awesome.
scene. That was the one time that I actually felt anything. That kind of sounds weird. Like the rest of the movie was good, but that was like the first time that I felt like, yes, this is how a realistic Lion King should feel. Like that, like the wildebeest trampling and stomping through. And I think they pretty much used like the same music that they used in the original, which was nice. But just like, you know, the feeling of that scene, and that was the only time that I felt real tension in the movie. It was weird.
Oh, I felt, you know what? I felt that tension. I know what you're talking about in the wildebeest, but I felt that tension in the final fight between Scar and Simba. I was very like on edge and like I don't even know. I might have been holding.
You knew what was gonna happen.
Like my whole body was tense, and I was just like, what's gonna happen next?
I don't know if you felt it during certain scenes, but especially the chase through the elephant graveyard and other movements throughout the movie, it felt like everything was slowed down. Like especially like when Simba and Nala were getting chased through the elephant graveyard, it felt like they weren't trying to get away. Like like the way they're moving. Like I don't know. I haven't watched the original in a while, but I feel like when like the scene, maybe it's the way the scenes were cut. Because maybe like the original, it's like very fast cut scenes, so it makes it feel like everything's jumping around, which gives that feeling of like anticipation, not knowing what's going to happen. Whereas these one, it felt like they were very long, like they were still running and trying to get away, but they were long continuous scenes. And I think that kind of slowed it down a little bit. It was weird editing choices, I thought, in those scenes.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, for me, it seemed like all right, get to the point, you know. And that happened. That was another thing that I told you when we were eating dinner. There were a couple times where there were long scenes that didn't need to be long,
Yeah.
and there were short scenes that didn't need to be short.
Mm-hmm.
So, right after Circle of Life, you know, in the original, you see the little mouse running around into Scar's cave, and it's like a 5-second shot maybe, and then Scar pounces on the mouse. They turned that into like a 5-minute montage where
really long.
the mouse is like, he gets a little piece of grain, he goes to the water and drinks the water, then he crawls up this, crawls around here, and it just, I was like, get to the point.
And then Scar like kind of went after him, and he hit over here.
Yeah,
and then
which that was
Scar
fine.
went after him over here, and he hit over here.
Because that was like,
and then finally Scar caught him, and then
Yeah.
it went back into like what the original scene was.
which I thought was okay, because in the original Zazu said something like, you shouldn't play with your food or something like that, I think. And you know, that he doesn't say it in this one, but you can get the same feeling because he's clearly playing that game of cat and mouse, which I liked. But it was just like, you could have really easily just started, you know, the mouse, you know, walking to Scar's cave and then walking on that piece of grain or whatever, the
bone.
grass.
Oh.
Like,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
it bent, and then he was holding on to it,
Yeah.
and that's when Scar came
That's
to the
when
scene.
Scar
Like
came
that,
in.
you could have started right there, and it would have been perfect. But just like the whole, like, it's like they tried to make it National Geographic.
Yeah, like it was more documentary.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like,
stylized in that moment.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
it was weird. And the other scene,
I think that was to establish setting though.
I guess so.
Like, you know,
But we all know Lion King.
because you watched him go from the Pride Lands into the cave. Like
Yeah.
you saw that transition, that full transition.
It
From
gives you
that
more
light
scale.
to dark.
It
Yeah,
gives you more scale of like where you're at.
right.
Which the other one that was very long and drawn out that I didn't think it needed to be, after Timon and Pumbaa are talking with Simba, and Simba's telling them like all the kings of the past are up in the stars, and they laugh at him. He goes off on his own. And the original, he like flops down in the flowers, and the flowers petals go off to Rafiki. Rafiki grabs it, sniffs it, and aha! You know, it's Simba. This time he shakes his head, and from his mane, a tuft of hair floats off into the breeze, and then it's like a tumbleweed across the savannah, and then it gets caught in some water, and then a couple things peck at it, and the bird picks it up and flies away with it. Actually, that was kind of cute.
That
though,
was cute
because
though.
it was
like the daddy bird.
yeah, it was the daddy bird. He dropped it in the nest to make his nest, and then he flew away to get more stuff, and the mama bird picks it out and just like so, that was funny. That made me laugh.
Like, that's not
that
going
made a lot of
anywhere.
people laugh in the theaters.
That was a cute.
But
moment.
then it went away again and got caught in a leaf, and then a giraffe came and ate the leaf with the hair on it, and then it faded to black. I'm like, all right, well, we just ingested some of Simba's hair, and now we're gonna go poop it out. And the next scene is a dung beetle pushing a dung ball with Simba's hair
like sticking out of
stuck
it.
in it, and it rolls down a hill and it breaks, and then a couple ants come by and pick it up with, you know, then the ants are with leaves, and then the ants crawl up into Rafiki's tree, and Rafiki picks it out, and like I'm pretty sure everyone in the theater at that point
I was
like,
holding
don't
I was
sniff
like,
it.
please don't put that to your face. Oh God, please.
But just because he picked up some random mane hair, he's like, it's Simba. I was like,
He felt it. There was like a moment of realization where he was like, "What is this? What is this I'm holding?"
They did
and like,
show,
and then like he was like, oh, "It's Simba."
they did show a more spiritual connection that Rafiki had though.
Yeah.
Like more so than just witch doctory.
Yeah.
Like he was definitely more like spiritually inclined. So I get it, but it was just like that scene took way too
it
long
took so
for the
long.
payoff.
And just the fact that literally I think everyone was holding their breath like, please don't smell that thing. Because once the giraffe ate it, it was like going downhill.
You knew
everyone was
exactly
like,
where it was
it's
going
coming out
after
as
that.
poop. It's coming out as poop. Who's gonna go get it from the poop? Like, how's this gonna work from there? So yeah.
So yeah, those were the two scenes that were like way too long, more longer than they needed to be. But then I felt Scar's interaction, and I'm going to probably get very upset at this next point. Scar's interaction with the hyenas, again, they established that he never really met with them before, but it was so quick that he was able to convince them to join him.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, the original, it made sense because he was already established, and they're like, yeah, you're one of us, you're our buddy. So of course they'd listen to him.
Yeah.
But then he's just
like he was an outcast just like them the whole
right.
time. Where...
So like he didn't really do anything to convince them, especially Shenzi. Like Shenzi was clearly the leader, and she just was like, "Oh, okay, Scar, you can do it." And then
they were hungry.
The worst part of the movie for me. Worst part. They started Be Prepared, and 30 seconds later it was done.
Yeah.
There was no Be Prepared song.
No.
And that is my favorite song in the original Lion King. I love Disney villains. I love Disney villain songs, and it started to go, and like
and it was like building up nicely.
It slowly built and never went anywhere.
Yeah.
But it was all
petered out.
It was like spoken verse, which I thought was fine. It's a different movie.
It was different, yeah.
It's a different way of doing it. But it was like 30 seconds long, and then he just shouts, "Be prepared!" and then
that was it.
Pops out and leaves.
Yeah.
It was nothing. It was crap.
Yeah, I was sad about that too. Because I was really looking forward to the villain song too. I love my villains.
If you've seen the original, and I won't go into detail because people will get upset for certain words that are said, but like there's a scene where there's a certain style of marching that happens, and I can see why they would cut that scene because it doesn't fit in today's society, and that's fine. But you can easily change that, like they changed every other song. Like, Just Can't Wait to Be King. There was no jumping on giraffes' heads. There's no pillars of animals standing on each other. Yeah. You know, that's for a stylized cartoon. But what they turned it into was Simba and Nala jumping around the water hole through other animals' legs and feet and everything, and trying to lose Zazu through the song. It worked, and it worked very well. They didn't try with Be Prepared.
Yeah,
they didn't try.
It fell flat. That was the biggest part of the performance.
It didn't fall flat. It wasn't there. For
me, it fell flat. No, it fell. You know why it fell flat? Because there was a slight build to it. There was like it was coming in, and you got excited. You're like,
crap.
Ooh, here it is, here it is, here it is, and then it was like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? So yeah, that was disappointing. It fell flat. That scene fell flat for me. And I was not too happy.
There's one weird thing, and I don't want to say anything that'll make people upset. So take my words
with a grain of salt.
Yes, I guess. Disney has this weird obsession with obligatory chick fights. So I had a feeling you'd look at me like that. The final battle, everyone's fighting. Everyone's, the lions are slashing at the hyenas are biting back. Shenzi and Nala lock eyes while everything's going on around them, and they walk off and they're like, and then they do the whole back and forth. It's just like Gamora and her sister Nebula. It's just like Black Widow and the other random space girl in Infinity War. It like maybe it's because of the Marvel movies, but like they didn't need it. They didn't need to just like here's Shenzi, here's Nala.
Like dialogue.
And it's like, I'm not a cub anymore. I'll still kill you anyway. It was so dumb.
This is like a dialogue that didn't add to anything.
Yeah, it didn't. It was just like
it was just there, and you're like, we know that you guys had a history, but like even in the even in the first scene where they do meet, she's still going after Simba.
Yeah.
She doesn't even mention Nala.
Yeah. Well,
Nala just happens.
She doesn't say Nala's name.
But that's what I'm saying. Like she has no connection to Nala. No, she has connection to Simba because she's like, oh, you're the king's son. Yeah. You're the prince. I'm gonna go after you.
So
I want you. You're like the trophy.
It just continues this weird trope that I've noticed recently in Disney action films where there just has to be a fight between the two main women. It's necessary for some reason, which it was just weird to me. It didn't make any sense, especially because they're animals. They'll fight whatever's in front of them. Like I get it.
Now in Simba's pride, it makes sense.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there was I get it. You're putting human emotions into animals, which is why at one point Nala sees Simba getting like piled on by hyenas and she jumps in and saves him. Cool. There's a connection there. There's no connection between Shenzi and Nala, and it was
so forced. It was a pointless.
That's a good word. It was forced.
It was a pointless moment in the movie.
And then that was the weird thing I think about the hyenas in general. You know, in the original they were incompetent.
Yeah.
In this one they were lazy. And the reason
I didn't put it like that.
I especially when, you know, Shenzi, I don't know because there's no Banzai and Ed.
Yeah.
It's Shenzi and I don't remember actually they never mentioned the other two's
They never
names.
say their names.
It's in the credits.
I mean, Ed is still Ed. Like, you can still tell who Ed is because he's the one that won't give him space.
Yeah, but it's not Ed because Ed doesn't talk and makes noises. Which I wanted to look up before we did the video to see if Jim Cummings actually had a part. But come on, just give Jim Cummings a part. Let him make some dumb, random Ed noise in the background for one scene. Give us a little fan. That's fan service I would have appreciated. But like, yeah, to me they came off as lazy rather than incompetent. Because like the scene where they chased Simba out of the gorge and, you know, he fell off the cliff. And then Shenzi's like, get down there and chase him and go kill him.
And make sure that he's dead, yeah.
And they're just like, well, he fell down there.
There's no way he would survive.
There's no way. And you're like,
right.
Yeah, it's good for me.
It's like, that's all he had to say.
There's no like back and forth like, yeah, if he comes back around, if you ever hear that? If you ever come back, we'll kill you. There's nothing.
Nothing,
just
yeah.
like,
It's just like, yeah, you're right.
See you
They
later.
were very lazy. That was a good characteristic.
So I was just like,
yeah.
And it was a little apparent here and there throughout. It was just lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really care for that. But yeah, I miss Ed.
I did miss Ed. I missed a lot of the playfulness that the animated, and like Mike made a good point when we were talking about it earlier, was that, you know, since they're trying to go for a more realistic version of The Lion King, they're going to cut out a lot of that fourth wall breaking tropes that they did in the original one. But that was one of the things as a kid that made it fun for me, was like, oh, haha, like, you know, not in front of the kids, like things like that, like, you know, I felt like, and that was one of the scenes that bugged me too, was that whole, like, because I'm expecting, like, not in front of the kids, or like just something like that was coy like that, and it made it fun. It was slick. It was very blatant. They were like, "You farted. This is a fart."
Well,
da, 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 da. And I'm
they did try to make a callback to it because, you know, and I got downhearted. How did you feel every time that I farted? You're not gonna stop me. So like, you know, it was a callback rather than like the whole like, no, not in front of the kids.
I was like, I like the coy. I like it being playful and saying what you need to say without saying it at all.
So.
Like, that I enjoy. So
they didn't do that, but at the same time they didn't break the fourth wall, but they broke universe. And now
they did.
Hold on. Everyone out there, I know a lot of people will not agree with me because everyone says that Lion King is their favorite Disney childhood movie. I have proof that Beauty and the Beast is the better film. Because, again, I guess a product of the time, you know, dressing in drag and doing the hula isn't, you know, kosher anymore.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So, Timon starts breaking out into Be Our Guest.
It was great, though. It was like a great moment because you're expecting, again, the animated version.
Yeah, but it's just like, you know.
But yeah, when they broke universes, you're right.
Yeah, so like they didn't break the fourth wall, but they decided to break universe.
Yeah.
If that's a term, I don't know.
It is now.
Yeah, I coined it.
Good job.
But yeah, that's, again, different movie, not the same. That's fine. You know, if you want to give a scale, what would you say out of 10?
For Lion King?
Yeah.
Or 10 being the best or 10 being the worst?
10 would be the best. But
okay,
you said that you at dinner you said that you liked this one the most out of the live action so far?
Yeah, cuz Aladdin was good, but I felt like lacked a lot of things that I would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
Beauty and the Beast was good, but a lot of their corrections.
Oh, I didn't like Beauty and the Beast.
I know. But for me, Beauty and the Beast was good, but a lot of their corrections to fix the things that people found in hindsight kind of threw off the movie for me. Like, I was like, you didn't really need to fix that.
Yeah.
Just let it be. So The Lion King was definitely the best remake that I've seen. That being said, it still left a little bit of longing for me, like, for certain things that the original, like, nuances that the original had.
Yeah.
I wish they had, like, interwoven it a little bit more into this take. And out of 10, I would probably give it a 7.
Okay, I thought you would have been higher on that.
No, I think a 7 is fair because it was better. It was better than what we were told by critics to expect.
Which they did like 58%.
Yeah, it was better than what critics told us. So it was higher than 50%. It was missing a few things for me, but I still found myself very involved and enthralled in the movie and enjoying all of the performances. Everything was a good movie. It had some drawbacks, which we've discussed, but for the most part, I would go watch it again. I would watch it again in theaters too. I would like to take the kids and see their reactions.
Okay.
To it in theaters.
They've seen the original Lion King.
They've seen the original Lion King. They've seen Simba's Pride, and they've seen 1.5. 1.5. So
1.5.
But they don't know 1.5 as well, and they don't know Simba's Pride as well. But they've seen Lion King. They asked for that movie from time to time just to see it. So they know the characters, they know the story, they know the songs. So yeah, I would be curious to see what their take on it was. I would be curious to, for my own personal self, to watch The Lion King here at home first, and then go see the movie, and see if I have any more critiques or criticisms that I would throw in there.
Yeah.
Because I'm going off of, like, the last time the kids watched it, where I was able to sit down with them. And that was when we were in our old house, and it was, like, a few months ago. So, like, it's kind of hazy for me. Like, I remember a lot of it because it's ingrained in me from childhood. But, like, I don't remember all the nuances and little things, too. So, I probably missed some things in the new movie that were throwbacks to the old movie. Just because I don't remember every single little detail.
All right.
So yeah, but I would give it a 7.
Okay. For Disney's current live action that I've seen, I haven't seen all of them. I would put Aladdin above this one, but this one would be second.
Okay. So it's better than you expected.
It's about what I expected.
Oh right.
It's about what I expected. I can sum up my experience in one nice little sentence. It was less Disney magic and more National Geographic. So I would give it about a 6 out of 10. I would agree with critics. That's where I would put it. Because things I liked about it, there were good new choices that were made, but there were too many choices that I didn't like, and I will not forgive them for getting rid of Be Prepared.
That was sad. That's another reason why mine's down at 7.
Yeah,
like if Be Prepared was at its scale that it should have been done at, it would have been an easy 8 or 9 for me. Yeah. Because that was a real big letdown.
And I think in general, like I said, I thought all the singing that was there was superb. I thought it was great. I thought it was excellent. But the acting, other than James Earl Jones as Mufasa, I didn't think it was very inspiring.
Oh, seriously? I thought the acting was great. The songs are what got me. Like, I was like, ugh.
I miss Jeremy Irons. I miss his cool, calculated wit. I miss his, sarcasm as Scar. Mm-hmm. I just, whoever, I forget, I don't know who
Sorry,
this
we're
Scar.
so bad with names
He did fine.
He did a great job.
But, there's just, I miss Jeremy Irons. So, yeah. I would say 6 out of 10, so.
Okay. But, I mean, I say, you guys go see it.
Yeah.
You let us know what you think.
Well, I wanted to say this in the beginning, but hopefully, I guess it doesn't matter.
Hopefully
go see the movie first.
Yeah, go see the movie before you watch this.
Here, we'll cut it. Hey, guys, go see the movie first before you watch this. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, but hopefully you've seen the movie before you watched our opinion on it. So that you can form your own opinions and share them with us. We would love to know what you're thinking and what you felt. If you thought we were on point about things or completely bat crazy, like it's just I don't know. I just think it would be fun to have a dialogue, open up about it with you guys. Well, I guess that's everything for tonight.
I think so.
For the review, yeah.
If you stuck with us this entire way, I appreciate it because it's almost been an hour. I mean, after edits and everything, it's still almost an hour. So if you watched the whole way, thanks.
Thank you. And if you enjoy these kind of videos from us, like our videos, subscribe, comment below, let us know what you're thinking. Ring that bell so that you know when we're putting on new videos. We do so many different things, and we're just trying to hone into what we really want our channel to be.
I think we just want to make it fun, whatever we feel like.
We just want to make it fun, and
at the
it's
time.
just about our family hanging out and doing different things.
And if you enjoyed my Mike's Weekly Weigh-Ins, I do want to get back to them again. I'm going to probably look for one maybe tomorrow, hopefully. No promises, though. I've been exercising again, but it's been tough in the new house, so.
Yeah, so, we're feeling it out.
We're having fun.
We're having fun. This is more of a hobby for us. It's a way to keep up with our family members who don't see us every single day or talk to us every single week, and friends and stuff. But we like having you guys watch us too and hang out with us. So, yeah, let us know what you guys are thinking. If you want to see more of anything, we live near Philly, so if you want to see more stuff around the city or, museums or, family attractions or events and stuff, let us know. We can start checking things out too and filming it and letting you know what our take on it is and what we're experiencing, so that you can be a part of that, because we do live in a very exciting city. And an exciting area, actually. The suburbs they got a lot going on too. So,
all right.
Yep. Well, that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and listening to us go on and on about one of my favorite Disney movies.
I love the original. It's just not my favorite.
It's my favorite. It's the first movie I ever saw in theaters. So.
Mine was Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. So.
Oh, have a good night, or whenever you're watching this, have a good day.
Bye, guys.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Means no worries
for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. Don't do that. Hakuna Matata.